This is our third segment with Professor Mezvinski on Christian Zionism. When the little bit I know about this movement and the way I've seen it operating, there are a few things that I am, I suppose, curious about. You've mentioned the support from Israel and the Israeli government for the Christian Zionist lobby in America, and cultivating really that way of understanding things for the sake of their political benefit. In the long run, this does not strike me as very useful for Jews to have this as a prism through which both Judaism is seen as well as Israeli citizens. How do you see that?
First of all, I would agree that this kind of support and this whole position is in the longer run terribly problematic and most likely bad for Israeli Jews and Israeli society, given where Israel is and given the demography of the area and so on. That's one point. The second point I would make is that there's a tremendous amount of hypocrisy involved in this that also seems to me bad. I'll give you a major example. I've done a good deal of study about what's called the Jewish religious right in Israel. And many of the theologians of the Jewish religion right, who are among the most extreme anti-Arab Israelis, many of those rabbis have expressed the most negative views of all Gentiles that one could almost imagine, that their souls are satanic, that all the Gentile nations are evil, and that's why we Jews have to be very concerned and we have to be alert all the time, because otherwise we're going to have difficulties if we aren't going to be hurt to maybe the point of destruction by these nations. Now, when I have gone to Israel, which I have, and when I've gone to some of the conferences of the Christian Zionists, and when I have seen up on the podium a few of these rabbis with those views, arm in arm with the Christian Zionists, who are saying anyway in the end time all but 144,000 Jews will be killed, I'm struck by the hypocrisy involved. Now, let me also say that it's not only Norton Mezvinski who is struck by this. There have been, over the past few years, and it's been continuous, there have been in various American Jewish publications and even more in Israeli publications, including the 3 major Israeli Hebrew newspapers, there has been this kind of comment, and there's actually been criticism from a number of commentators about the alliance with Christian Zionists for a whole variety of reasons, a couple of which I've mentioned. So there is that kind of feeling and expression also among Jews, and I mean among Jews from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum in terms of their views about the Israeli-Palestinian issue or the various issues that are involved in that problem.
It's also so, from my perspective, so problematic when Christians view Jews as simply a building block in their notions of the unfolding of history.
Well,
that is a kind of massification and a symbolizing of Jews instead of seeing them as human beings like all of us and relating to them properly like that. Turn a whole people into a symbol.
Not only do I think that's correct, but let me underline that. If I take one of maybe over the last decade, clearly, the number one Christian Zionist leader still today, his name is Hagee, and he has a very large congregation in San Antonio, Texas. Now, Hagee, for a number of years, was someone who was an advocate of this idea that all the Jews except 144,000 will be killed. Hagee became glorified by the Israeli government. He was given awards and so on. He became aware of some of this kind of criticism. And so now being, I'd say, the last 3 years, Hagee has backtracked on saying that all but 144,000 will be killed. He will now say, when he's asked about that, no, I don't advocate that and I don't say that. When he's asked, well, how do you then reconcile what you're saying now with what you said previously, he does not answer that question.
The other side of this, which is so profoundly problematic and troubling and tragic, is the implications of this for the struggle, the Palestinian struggle in that context. Could you just draw that out a little bit?
Well, it's horrible, and I would say that the major item involved in making it horribly bad is that this lobby has been so influential in influencing the United States government to back the state of Israel blindly, economically, as I said, militarily, and politically. That is the major problem involved here. There are some other problems. This group, Christian Zionists, they've given a great amount of money for the expansion of the settlements and for bringing over Jews from various places to Israel. We've had maybe 1.5 million Jews come to Israel since the late 1980s, and to a goodly extent, the financing of that, or a good part of the financing, has come from Christian Zionists.
My oh my, isn't that something? So your book, what is your book going to be titled?
Well, I'm still thinking about what I should title it. So I don't really have a title in mind. I'd like to call it something other than just Christian Zionism, and I probably will. Maybe I'll put Armageddon in the title, but I haven't decided.
You want Hagee to buy lots of copies of it. So it'll be out in a year?
It should be out in a year. I'm on the concluding chapter, and let's say that I have it done very soon.
Sure.
And so with a publishing house, one should give it at the best, as you know, 9 to 12 months.
You have a book, we have to finish this quickly. You have a book on Jewish fundamentalism in Israel. What is that titled?
That's called Jewish Fundamentalism in Israel.
Good. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for
your work.
Thank you.